I'll give you a statement, and then you tell me why it will happen, which is true, or why it won't, false. So we're going to start here with Allen. I'm going to go back and forth with you guys. Right now, Michigan holds the top spot in the 2024 team recruiting rankings. Ohio State is right behind them at 2, and Penn State is at 5. So true or false, Michigan will finish the cycle next February with the highest ranked recruiting class in the Big Ten.
I'm going to say true, and I don't have a justification for it. I just wanted to pick my own name, so I have.
I love it. You have to be true.
No,
You're always
kidding.
true.
There are a lot of reasons for that, actually. I think when you look at, can a team stay in the spot that they are right now in the rankings, you have to look at a few things. Number one, are there guys in the class who can still move up in the rankings? And I think Michigan has that. I think Blake Frazier is a guy we're going to take a close look at. They've got a couple other guys who are dancing around that 89 mark, Ted Hammond and Ben Roebuck and guys like that, and a guy like Manuel Bagel, who we just don't have a lot of information on, that I think by the end of the cycle we'll have a lot more to go on as far as his ranking. So there's meat on the bone there, and then they've got a lot left on the board. Taylor Tatum, Imarian Stewart, Max Anderson. They're moving up for guys like Aaron Scott and Aaron Childs. There's even some talk that they may be able to go out west and be a factor for a guy like Gatlin Bear. So when you look at all the guys left on the board for Michigan and the guys currently in the class who could still move up in the rankings, I think they have a really good chance to hold on to that top spot. Obviously, Ohio State's not going to go away without a fight, so nothing would surprise me there. But as of right now, looking at the upside still left in this class, I'm going to go true on Michigan.
I like it. Okay, Blair, you can pick either one, but let's ask you this question. It's Oregon is the only Pac-12 team inside the top 25 at number 9. I had to look this up to make sure. The next highest is Arizona at 37 and Colorado at 43. As we will remember, USC did finish 8th last year, but they're all the way down at 61 right now. So Blair, true or false, the Pac-12 will have fewer than 3 schools in the top 25 at the end of this cycle?
I'm going with my guy Allen, and I'm going to say true again. I do think that Oregon is safely going to be a top 25 program in the rankings. We heard Steve Wilfong detail all the visitors inside Autzen Stadium this past weekend and the job that Dan Lanning is doing on the recruiting trail with the number of top targets still on the board. I feel really good about them. I still feel good about USC. I think they're going to be able to close with a flurry like they did last year. And they are in on a number of recruitments that are maybe developing a little bit slower. They might not be the front runners right now for Dylan Raiola, but I do think that they could be on flip watch with maybe a couple other quarterbacks once that decision is made. And, you know, the schools that I think would scare me right now, if there would be 3 or 4, maybe even 5 that sneak into the top 25, would be Colorado, because you can't count out what Deion Sanders is doing. Washington, because they are due to have a really big season under Kalen DeBoer and a really experienced quarterback in Michael Penix, and that could really catapult them in recruiting. And then you can't count out Utah, right? The defending Pac-12 champion, 2-time Rose Bowl participant, and the job that Kyle Whittingham is doing. They are probably the leaders right now for Isaac Wilson, the 4-star quarterback who we just mentioned, and the brother of Zach Wilson. So those 3 schools maybe give me a little bit of worry, but I'm going to say true, less than 3 Pac-12 schools in the top 25.
All right. It is May, so the time has shortened a little bit, but we still got a lot of time to go to see how that shapes up. All right, Allen, this next one's for you. Notre Dame currently sits right outside the top 5 at number 6 with 12 commitments. Last year, they finished 12th in Marcus Freeman's first year. So true or false, Notre Dame will finish inside the top 10 in 2024.
I'm going to keep the true train rolling. It just rolls off the tongue so much better than false, for one thing. But, you know, they finished 12 last year, as you mentioned, and you have to think they're going to do better this year with another full cycle under their belt. And they, like, same thing with Michigan. Do you have some guys in the class that can move up? Aeneas Williams just won positional MVP at a UC report. CJ Carr just earned an invitation to the opening finals. Carson Hobbs, who's a 3-star right now, running very well in track season. So I think they have some guys in the class who can move up and help that rank. They still have players on the board who can move the rank way up. I know the aforementioned Steve Wilfong, who was on before me, put in a crystal ball pick for Justin Scott to Miami, but I think Notre Dame's still very much in the thick of that race if they can pull him in, along with some other guys like Micah Gilbert and Gerby Lambert, I think Notre Dame still has a chance to, a lot of upside left in this class to where they can finish inside that top 10.
All right, Blair, this next one for you. Back in late 2022, Elijah Rushing put out a top 12 that included schools from coast to coast. So the number one edge in 2024 out of Arizona has close to 40 offers and lots of visits on the horizon in June. So true or false, when it's all said and done, Elijah Rushing, the number 8 player in the country, will leave the West Coast and play football outside the Pac-12 footprint?
I'm all on board the Trieu train. Choo, choo, choo. I think he's leaving the Western footprint as we enter here the month of May. It's early, and I know Oregon is heavily involved in this recruitment. He just visited last Tuesday, took in a practice with Dan Lanning, and got a chance to see what they're building there. But I like Notre Dame right now. My crystal ball is not yet on the Fighting Irish. I don't even have a crystal ball in for Elijah Rushing. But I do think that Marcus Freeman has made the biggest dent in this recruitment. The best impression has come from Marcus Freeman. He goes to South Point Catholic. The two biggest high-profile players from South Point Catholic in recent years did leave the Western footprint. That would be Bijan Robinson, the former 5-star running back and just a top 10 pick in this past NFL draft, who went on to Texas, and then Lathan Ransom, the safety who's at Ohio State right now. So I think Elijah Rushing has been keeping his options open and keeping an open mind about going outside the region. We've seen him taking photos with Jason Taylor. We've seen him go out and meet with Kirby Smart. He's got an official visit scheduled with Tennessee. He's got a number of high-profile out-of-region schools chasing his signature. And right now, in May, I'm going with him leaving the Pac-12 footprint and possibly going to Notre Dame.
All right, let's find out if we have a clean sweep of Trieu's here. Allen, all eyes on Matt Rule and Luke Fickell as they rebuild two proud Big Ten programs. Right now, the Huskers are 5th among Big Ten West schools in the team recruiting rankings, while Wisconsin is at 3rd. So where else do we turn? Oh, I'm going to ask you this question here. Apologies. True or false, at the end of the 2024 cycle, among the Big Ten West schools, Nebraska and Wisconsin will be the top 2 teams when it's all said and done?
You know what? I don't want to seem biased towards my own name, so I'm going to go false on this one. But I do have some backing on this one as well. I think for Nebraska, they had an outstanding class last year, finished atop the Big Ten West. That was helped out by the commitment of Malachi Coleman, I think it was a top 75 prospect in the country. I don't know if they can find one of those in this class to help pull that up. Maybe they will, but right now they don't have a Malachi Coleman currently in the class to help that. And then you look around the Big Ten West, Minnesota has a really good class right now, and they've still got a lot more meat left on the bone to where they can improve their class rank. We really like Iowa's class. When we talk up and down with the national team about some of the guys in this class, we just raised some of their commits up. I think they have some other guys in that class who can move up as well. So I do think there's going to be a tight race. I think Nebraska and Wisconsin will be right there, but I think when you look at what Minnesota and Iowa are doing, and even Purdue is putting together a good class right now, I think that one of those teams in there is going to have something to say about the Badgers and Huskers being in the top 2.
Blair, true or false? Allen's the best.
Oh, that's 100% true. You
100%
can't.
true.
Yeah, I lie detector right now because that's completely true.
Well, listen, I don't want to be the only one that gets all the name puns. So, Emily, I'm proud of what you've accomplished.
Thank you. Yep. It's too easy. I mean, we've lived with these names our whole lives, so we take it at the chin. Allen, thank you. Appreciate it.